Hey, it's Kevin, and I want to talk about the potential of using augmented reality and holograms for stop motion animation. So why am I standing in front of a mirror? I'm wearing the Microsoft HoloLens, and I just wanted to give a sense of what's going on. You're seeing my direct point of view, and I'll just keep recording with this as I demo some ideas. So I've set up a simple bouncing ball path with this ball here. So stop motion animation is moving physical objects through space one frame at a time. So if I were to move this along the path, I'd walk away, take a picture, I'd move it again, walk away, take a picture, do it again, keep going, and eventually you play those frames back and the ball is bouncing through space. Now it's easy to visualize this path with the hologram here. I can walk around and okay, it's very clear where the ball is going to go. But as a stop motion animator right now, what you're typically seeing, or not typically, what you are seeing would be something like that, where you're having to visualize on your own where this ball's going to go. And what's important for this example is to understand that there's always a camera filming your animation. So let's pretend I'm the camera here and I'm recording the frames of animation. So this is a still camera. So me as an animator on set over here, I have very little reference of where this ball is going to go. So I'm walking over to my camera and the computer controlling it, and I'm using a frame grabber to toggle between the frames that I've taken and the live frame, and that's my only point of reference of where I think the ball should go. So I'm using my instincts and my experience to help me animate, and I can use some digital tools like this path here. I can draw that on the flat computer monitor, but I really have to hope that my perspective's correct and my physics are correct. It's again a guess. And that's made much more difficult when I'm not a still camera and the camera is doing this over the course of the shot. As soon as the camera starts moving, I can no longer draw the simplest of paths on the computer monitor that I'm looking at, because every frame they're changing. There's only so much you can reference on the camera and computer monitor you're looking at. Now, my dog's making noise. As an animator on set, I can do things like take a marker and ball's going to hit here, ball's going to hit here. Maybe on the rigging that's supporting the ball, I can say, I can mark it somehow, saying this is how high it'll go on the first bounce. On the second bounce, I'm recording how high I want it to go. Maybe same with the third. But really, there's nothing you can do in physical space to say, this is the exact path I want to draw or animate through. So let's talk about what these holographic tools could potentially do. I've drawn a very crude path with a very crude tool. That's just where the technology's at. But imagine if this was a very complex, curve editor where I could say grab this point, drag it, grab this point, drag it over, and maybe I had some, tangent handles over here where I could manipulate the shape of the curve, move it around, same thing along. And I could also add in real time, increments, my 24 frame per second increments of each frame where the ball should be. If we take it one step further, what if it was just a physics simulator where I could say this is my start point, launch a ball at this trajectory and this velocity, ball has this mass, it's made of this material, and I get a real-time physics simulation of what that ball would do. And it gives me all my increments in 24 frames per second. Pretty cool. So a ball is a simple example. Let's pretend for a second that it's not a ball and that it's a rabbit. So this is the mass of the rabbit, and it's got these floppy ears, some floppy feet, and some arms. So most of the time you will be animating, a character like that. This technology wouldn't give you all that information for free, but it would give you the path that it might follow. So, this is a rabbit bouncing along. And so no matter what the camera's doing, say the camera's spinning around the scene, I can put this on and check the path I want the rabbit to follow. And then I'm going over to my camera and only referencing, what the ears need to do, what the arms and legs, the feet, the character and performance, rather than the technical information of the path it should travel. So what that does is it could let you turn your brain off of the technical information. I've done shots where your brain has to act as a computer and track these paths in space as the camera is spinning around, and it really taxes you and takes your mind off what the performance and character should be. So here's an even more complicated example. Let's go for pen. What if you had several rabbits jumping around like that? Let's do a bigger one here. Erase. Okay. So what if you had several rabbits jumping around and your camera's spinning like this? That's a lot of information to track. So at least these holographic tools could potentially give you, the gross movement of objects, and then you can just focus on the creative aspects like character and performance. So that's kind of exciting. I'm going to play around with this a bit more and see where it goes. Why not? Pretty neat. All right, so that concludes the example. I'll keep posting more, see where this goes.